Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jason Zombie Collector. I got my new fade finally. Finally, I got my DC fade looking like a young, more attractive uh, Will Smith from back in the day. I feel like a new person. It's been over 4 months. I got a haircut. I actually ended up having a friend about a week, 2, 3 weeks ago. Just use regular the scissors and cut some hair off because it was like getting so crazy. I just told her I was like, just chop, chop, chop right on through. I don't care. You can make it all janky. I don't care. And then finally, now that we can go to the barber shop or the uh, whatever you want to call it, uh, I was able to make an appointment and get in there. So feel like somewhat human again. But you didn't come here to take my beauty tips. You're here for this. So this was a box set that Shriek Show put out probably back like in the 2004 or 5, I bet, something like that. Maybe even been a little earlier. Um, and they had a whole bunch of box sets. They had a possessed box set for like more demonic type things. They had this one. They had a Grindhouse. They had a Giallo one. They had like maybe they had vampires. They had witches. There was like probably at least a dozen ish sets, and they're three different movies. It's a 3D DVD box set, and I've talked about some of my other videos. My favorite uh, grindhouse exploitation type movies were animal attack films because they had to use real animals or they use practical effects on pretending they're real animals, and it was like just so cheesy because CGI obviously wasn't a thing throughout the 70s and 80s. So these films were based on using real animals and then like computer graphics, not CGI, and sometimes practical effects to make the movie terrifying or scary. And just so happens that one of my favorite director from my hometown made two of the three movies in this box set. So I'm going to go over it with you a little bit, and let you know what a little bit about them. Again, this is more for me just introducing it to you. I don't know if this will be something that people will like or not like, but I enjoy the Dickens out of these type of movies. So the first up is the classic Devil Dog Hound from Hell. Let me just read you the synopsis on the back of this because if this doesn't get your juices flowing, I don't know what will. The Barry family got themselves a new puppy and it's just cute as a button. But the maid isn't so sure. She's convinced the little Dickens, oh, I just said Dickens again, is possessed by the devil. I mean, that's the logical conclusion, right? That if the dog is a little bit, aggressive, it has to be from the devil. I mean, that's the logical step I go. Like when I had a dog and the dog was a little bit aggressive or kind of like was nipping, I automatically thought this dog has to be from the devil. And then it says, the truth is, she might be right. Lots of unusual and eerie events occur, and no one in the family, not even Kim Richards, nor Ike Eastman, I guess he's the mom and the son, is safe. It's up to dad, Richard Crenna from First Blood. He plays Sylvester Stallone's like sergeant or major in the First Blood movie. So that's Richard Crenna. To save his family's souls from the demonic clutches of the devil dog, Hound from Hell. This surprising 1978, the year I was born, made-for-TV movie is now available on this DVD box set by the director's Curtis Harrington. So if that doesn't get you excited, Devil Dog, Hound from Hell, and man, I remember watching this movie sometime probably in the 80s, but then I bought this. I completely forgot about it. But I mean, like literally, there was like all these scenes where you see this dog, and they, you know how the when you film an animal's eyes and they look like they're glowing, like it could be like gold or red or like a yellowish colors and stuff. They just put the camera on the dog's eyes, and the dog's just like, and it has the yellow eyes, and it's all these like eerie, creepy music, like it's the dog's thinking about ripping people apart. And then it has like these like really crappy special effects in the background. Then you have like this, devil princess in here who's like worshiping the dog. I mean, it is literally, they have like a black satanic seance or whatever. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's hilarious because people are taking it so serious. And I mean, how can you be some of these actors and having to be like acting and terrified of dogs, and they're just sitting there like just happy to be there, and hopping around and licking you and everything, and the next scene they're just like, no. It's the good old cheesiness for sure. Next up is one of William Girdler, who is a Louisville native. He died tragically in a plane crash while he was scouting locations in the Philippines. He filmed, I believe, one or two movies in the Philippines. I think Project Kill and The Manitou, I believe he filmed there. But anyways, The Manitou was his last movie he filmed. And William Girdler's claim to fame is that he would take popular movies that came out in the theaters that had did big business, and then he would rip them off and make his version of the movie and just change small things about it. For instance, Grizzly was a ripoff of Jaws. I actually think, there he says, Jaws with claws. And they would use like a slogan like, you have Jaws in the ocean, now you're going to have grizzly bears on land. And it's like Jaws with claws, or you were terrified of the oceans, now be terrified of the wilderness and the woods. And they would take all the same slogans, and they even do the kind of like some similar artwork and things to try to get people to come out and think, you like Jaws, then you're going to like Grizzly. And so he would essentially just make movies right after another movie got real popular. Gets the funding and then make these movies. And so he did a couple like that. He did a couple blaxploitation films. There's a movie he did called Abby, which is a blaxploitation film off of The Exorcist. I mean, it's almost the exact same premise and everything. It's all it is black actors, and they're supposed to be doing with some like voodoo African curse. But it's almost all the exact same things. You have a priest, you have like a voodoo priest. You have a young girl who's like virginal, and then she gets possessed by the devil. It's all kinds of stuff. But it's just way, way cheesier. But I digress. So here on Grizzly, there's a bunch of pretty famous character actors and film stars from the 70s in this. So some of them are Christopher George, Andrew Prine, Richard Jekyll, who I really like, and there's one other person I think in here I really like. Joan McCall, the female. Okay, yeah, but you have the back here. So they have this grizzly bear going around, and he's attacking people up in this wilderness campground. And we're talking about like, you have real video of the bear running around, and then he'll like attack what you'd like a tent. And the people are pretending to be scared, and they're like shaking the tent. There's people off camera shaking the tent because of the grizzly bears attacking. And all of a sudden you see like a guy, all you see is like a brown, grizzly bear arm come inside the screen. You can just tell some like, dude holding the bag, like probably the guy who's holding the boom mic is now holding this bear claw, and it's just like whipping around the camera, and it's attacking the girl or guy in the tent. And then you see them screaming, and the next scene there's like clothes are ripped and their faces are clawed up. And then you pan back to the bear, and the bear's like, it goes back to the real bear, and he's like standing up going, roar, and everybody's acting all scared of the grizzly bear. And essentially it's that kind of thing times 6 or 7 bear attacks. And you have Christopher George, I believe, and then you have Andrew Prine and Richard Jekyll. All of them are like, wilderness, like, hunters, or, what do you call the people who run like state parks, like state park guy rangers? There you go. And they're like tracking this bear down, but the bear cannot be found because this bear is almost like he had this like Nightcrawler style, just disappear. He just bamps in and out of the forest. But the most amazing thing is in this movie, I almost feel like I have to give it away. I'm not going to give it away, but the ending of this movie and how they dispose of the grizzly bear, dude, it is outlandish. All I'm saying is it involves a helicopter and the bear and the things don't go well for the bear in here. But this one, aside from Devil Dog Hound from Hell, this actually has really good acting, surprisingly. And even though it's a very cheesy premise and there's a lot of really cheesy moments in here, it's a pretty good movie. It's a very, in my humble opinion, it's a fun animal attack film. A lot of the imagery is really a bear. They use a real bear in lots of scenes. The bear is, doing lots of scary bear things in it. So that's the cool thing about it. Again, but whenever there's like real aggressive attacks to the people, it's fake and it's pretty painfully obvious. But I would highly recommend this film for kicks and giggles. But it actually is, again, a pretty good movie. Let me see if I can think of something I can tell you about here that tells you anything specific. No, just pretty much what I already said. I don't know if I missed anything. So there you go. I saved the best for last. The last movie, and this also is from William Girdler, is Day of the Animals. Now, I love this movie with a passion. One being it's William Girdler directed it. Second is Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun movies fame, Airplane. A whole bunch of other movies, I guess, too. But those are the two things I can think off the top of my head. But he was in lots of different stuff. He always plays a goofball. He plays a serious role in this. He's like a abusive husband or boyfriend. And the weird thing is he looks exactly the same as he did in the 80s. This is shot like late 70s. And in the late 80s and the early 90s, he still looks exactly the same. Oh, he also was in Creepshow. I forgot about that. But he plays it in this movie straight. There's no comedy. And the most epic scene is that and Leslie Nielsen, I kid you not, this isn't giving anything away. It kind of is, but it's worth it just so I can get people to go out and watch this movie. So eventually, Leslie Nielsen ends up squaring off against a grizzly bear. In the same scene, this grizzly bear is like legit huge grizzly bear, and Leslie Nielsen threatens to whoop the grizzly bear's butt, and like he battles the grizzly bear, but before he rips his shirt off, all this is real, guys. He rips his shirt off and like challenges the bear to a battle, like in the pouring down rain or whatever. It's like he's soaking wet, and he's like, "I am not scared of you. You understand when I destroy you," and all that. He's full on WWE wrestling like setup mindset, and he's like, "I will challenge you, and I'm not scared of you," and all this kind of stuff. So he leaves the group of people that he's supposedly defending, but he's a complete jerk in this entire movie. Like, he just cares about himself. But he starts going mad, like losing touch with reality, and he decides to take on this bear. And I'm not even kidding you. It shows him going up to the grizzly bear, and of course they're both in the same scene. The way I remember, they're cut with the both of them in there. But eventually he ends up getting so close to the bear, they cut it away, and then it looks like the bear's giving him a bear hug, as the bear is ripping him apart. So it like shows the bear holding on to him as it's like ripping him apart. And it's like, he's like, ah! There's like fake blood and claws are going everywhere. But the fact that you have Leslie Nielsen stripping down to his pants and shorts, ripping his shirt off like Hulk Hogan and challenging a grizzly bear to a duel is worth the price of admission. So hopefully that gets you excited. Now, the premise of this movie is just like essentially like Grizzly. But here they're saying the animals have had enough with the humans. It's kind of like his eco-friendly, PETA-driven a wet dream where the animals become like self-aware and they start attacking people, innocent people, people who have nothing to do with like, doing anything to the nature and to the world and to the environment or whatnot. They just start attacking people, and they use real animals. So you have real dogs attacking people, birds, Pumas attacking people, mountain lions. What? Well, puma and mountain lions the same thing. Eagles, wolves, bears. Like I talked about, it's like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, owls. It's like everything. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. If I show you the back here, you see like an owl's on there, a wolf is on there. But I mean, it's just like it's kind of like Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds, because they're just animals attack, and it's unusual because they show a lot of in-camera animal attacks. Like these animals are attacking stunt doubles, of course. They're not used attacking the real actors or whatnot. And these dogs and these wolves and pumas or whatever, they're really attacking people. Like they put them in protective gear, and then whatever they do, they lather them up with blood or meat or whatever. And these animals go to town. It's pretty impressive because it's all done in camera animal attacks. Whereas nowadays, you probably would never hardly see that because it'd all be CGI. Or they probably wouldn't even do it because it would upset people's delicate sensibilities. But not only is Leslie Nielsen in here, Christopher George, who was also in Grizzlies, in this. Linda Day George, they're actually husband and wife. She's in it. Richard Jekyll, which is also in it, who's also in Grizzly. And then Michael Ansara, he plays like an Indian wise man who, like, you know, is in touch with wildlife. Again, like a very, you know, stereotypical character that you have to have a guy who's like native to the land, who is like, you know, the animal whisperer. And that has to be a Native American guy, but there you have it. And that's essentially the main cast of this movie. I've met, between Grizzly and Day of the Animals, I've met a handful of the actors in the movies. I used to do a lot of TTMs. Shout out to Troy Rudder, a.k.a. TTM Autograph, a.k.a. Tony. And I got pretty much the entire cast from both of these movies that were alive autographed the movie, autographed 8x10s and stuff like that. But guys, hopefully you all check out this box set. Let me get this, let me get all these in here for you real quick to show it off again. So again, this is from Shriek Show. I'm sure this is out of print at this point, but it's called Evil Animals. You got Day of the Animals, Grizzly, and Devil Dog, Hound of Hell. Hound of Hell, okay. There it is right there. The box has seen better days, but I'm never gonna get rid of it. So a lot of these come with 2 out of the 3 come with 2 discs. I believe Day of the Animals only has a 1 disc, but the other 2 has all kinds of special features, commentaries, photo galleries, interviews, promotional trailers. It has a little bit of everything. So you can see that. Leslie Nielsen. Yes, it even says, yes, that is Leslie Nielsen, which I think is hilarious. So hopefully this is almost a 20-minute long video of me talking about my love of animal attack films and a brief synopsis. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I know I enjoyed talking about it. And until next time, guys. Oh, let me know what you think. If you've seen any of these movies, tell me what you think about them. Do you like, Jason, those are sucked? I don't know why you're putting it over. They're awful. Or you're like, no, dude, that was great. I love those movies. Or thank you for introducing them to me. Now I'm going to go check them out. Let me know what you think. I'm sure this video will have like 3 views and no comments. But I'm throwing caution to the wind. But until next time, guys, peace.